So, guys, welcome back to Beyond the 90. I've got Max here as a Wolves fan. How you doing, Max?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yes, very good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Really looking forward to tomorrow's game. So, as we know, we're playing Wolves. I think there's been a lot of admiration between the two sides. The way that we kind of set up, the way that they've kind of embedded themselves as both Premier League teams, and obviously we're both Midlands clubs, but there doesn't seem to be too much of a rivalry, does there?
No, it's not. I wouldn't. We're not definitely not local rivals, are we? But you're obviously more East Midlands. We're West Midlands, so yeah. But we've. It's been a good few years for us, definitely.
Yeah.
Best years in a long time. So, not complaining about that at the moment.
It's really good to hear because we kind of had the similar thing coming from
Well,
2014.
yeah.
So it's just been a roller coaster ride. Just coming on to that, there seems to be kind of a mutual understanding between Leicester and Wolves fans that we play good football. We can defeat a top six team, and just kind of get your thoughts on how Wolves are doing so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, points-wise, it's been a fairly good start. Performance-wise, I think most Wolves fans would agree that it hasn't been great. The Crystal Palace game, the last game was good. We did play well in that game, best game of the season by a mile, really. But the other games, we just haven't seemed to get. It seems to be a season of transition for us. We've sold some players. We're trying to progress. I think Nuno's tried to change the style of play. It hasn't really worked out, hasn't really clicked. Whereas against Crystal Palace, we seem to go back to sort of our tried and tested old style of play under Nuno, and we played a lot better. So I'm happy with the points that we've got on the board, and if we can repeat the performance of Crystal Palace, I think going forward we'll be okay. But yeah, the first 6 games, weren't brilliant.
I was going to say, you say that, but you're still sitting in 6th position. Obviously, you've just had a look now at the table. You've won 4, lost 1. Lost 2, drawn 1. So it is looking quite a positive season so far.
Yeah, I know it sounds like I'm being greedy. I mean, we Sheffield United game, the first 10 minutes, we scored a couple of goals, and then the rest of that game we were steady but wasn't great. Man City, we lost 3-1. We were poor. West Ham game was just the worst performance under Nuno by far, 4-0. And then, to be honest, the Fulham game, I think we were quite lucky after that we had Fulham at home. They were struggling, obviously, and we stumbled over the line a bit with that one, 1-0. Leeds, we did okay at Leeds for the second half. And then Newcastle at home, we nearly won, but again, it wasn't brilliant. It wasn't a great performance, and if I'm honest, the draw was probably a fair result. And Crystal Palace, that's when we just seemed to go back to our old system, and we played a lot better. And that was our best performance by far. So I'm happy that we picked up 13 points. But we'll need to be playing a lot better if we want to carry on going forward.
Sounds good. That sounds good. So obviously you've lost. Obviously Yotta's doing a load of stuff for Liverpool, and you've got Doherty as well going to Tottenham as well. How else have you guys, obviously them two are kind of big players for you, but how have you managed to strengthen over the summer as well? Because obviously with lockdown, it's only been a short transfer window as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, really, with those 2 transfers. I suppose it divided some Wolves fans up. My opinion was, with the Doherty one, he's done well for us. But we've had 2 7th-place finishes. And if we want to try and get up to that sort of next level and progress, you've got to change the players. You can't just keep doing the same thing. And if I'm honest, Doherty was one of the players that I would have wanted to, replace. And we bought Semedo in from Barcelona, and for a lot of money. And he seems to be, starting to gel now with the team. It was difficult really when he first came in. We weren't, like I say, we weren't really playing well, so I felt a little bit sorry for him. But against Crystal Palace, he looked a lot more comfortable in that in the style of play. So I'm pleased with that. Jota was an interesting one. I think you just can't turn that down, that kind of money, and I'm sure he'll have wanted to go to Liverpool. He was he didn't have a great season for us last year.
Interesting.
He especially at the end of the season, he's a confidence player, I think, and probably someone like Jurgen Klopp. And he's playing for Liverpool. He's playing with better players, and I think he'll do well there. For me, I think it was just a win for everyone. We got good money for him.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool have got a player who's, they spent a lot of money, but he's doing well for them. I just think he wasn't going to do well for us this year. I just don't think he wasn't even starting for us at the end of last season. We've bought Podence in. We've got Pedro Neto, who's doing well. So, he's a good player. He's a great player, but it was one of those really. I think his value was only going to decrease if he stayed with us. So it was a good time to sell.
Fair enough. And also another player you bought in, I think, was a Portuguese striker. Was it Silva? Was it? I think. How's that going? Because he looks like, what's it called? Nuno's got a lot of faith in him.
Well, I mean, transfer party seen him. He started a League Cup game against Stoke where we were shocking, really, and we lost 1-0. I think it was a strange one, really. We bought him in for like 35 million, 18 years old. So you're kind of expecting a good player. We haven't seen enough. We haven't seen anything of him. I never thought we would be a club who would spend that much money on a player and who wouldn't just be going straight into our first team. I think again, we've got Jimenez up front. We play with that sort of. He plays as the number 9 striker, and Jimenez does. I think again, it was always going to be difficult to replace Jimenez. So I think what they've tried to do is they've brought in a player for a lot of money, but who's young, so he's not probably expecting just to go straight into the first team. I don't know. It's going to be. I'm not sure how that one's going to pan out. I can't really make any judgment on it because we really haven't seen enough of him. We've hardly seen anything of him play, so I'm not sure about that one. We've brought in the left wing back, Aitnery. He started last game against Crystal Palace where we looked a lot more balanced with him on the left, and he scored a good goal as well. So again, he's only 19, but that one looks a good signing. So yeah, so some are still, the jury's still out on some of our transfer business, and some of it still, looks good. But yeah, there's a couple of players we brought in. They're young, so we just don't know yet.
Brilliant. So it's still, I think with some of them signings that you've made, though, they'll just, with the Premier League, it's such a different kind of game. They'll just take time to bed in a little bit as well. So for example, we look at Soyuncu with us. He was an absolute menace at the beginning and was sliding all over the place. And if you give them time, and Nuno seems like the right manager that can get the most out of them, if he's anywhere near like our kind of recruitment and stuff, if the more you give them time, the better they can get. And just on to a little bit, obviously now you've got Villa and West Brom in the Premier League. So how is that, as kind of the West Midlands is well represented for the first time in a while in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's Villa obviously they struggled last season, but they look like they've recruited well. I know they've lost the last 2, but they look a good side this year. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top between us and them this year. Albion up, they they've had a good stint in the Premier League, and we went down to League One during that time, but it looks like they're going to struggle this year. I don't think they've spent enough money. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the derbies, but obviously it's just not the same when you can't go to the games. So, no fans there. I don't think we've got Albion until January, and I don't think we've got the reverse fixture until May. So, here's to hoping, but I don't think we're going to get to games this season. But yeah, it's the derbies are good to look forward to, and I think for the first time in a while, it's we're expecting to win these games. Wolves fans are, so yeah, they're good games to look forward to.
That's good to hear. Good to hear, because obviously on our end, we've obviously Derby and Nottingham aren't really anywhere near the near the Premier League, even looking to join them. So it's quite good to have that. The only time we'll potentially get them is in the EFL Cup or the FA Cup, and so we've not got that for a while. Just moving back to the Wolves game, are you still setting up like a 3-4-3, so similar position to what you were playing when you first joined the Premier League?
Yeah, so really Nuno's since Nuno's come in, we've played three at the back. With Cody as like that sweeper, you just reinvented Cody. I'll be honest. When Nuno came in and then they were playing Cody at sweep, I just thought, how is that ever going to work? But he's just been a revelation, and he's to get in the England squad as well now. It's just been brilliant, superb for him. And yeah, so we play with three at the back, two wing backs, and normally the two in midfield, and then we have the three sort of up front. Sometimes he has played like a 3-5-2, so gone with three central midfielders and two up front, but it's always the three at the back with the wing backs. But this season, we've gone 3-4-3. The front three, I'm not sure at the start of the season what kind of shape we were playing with them, but against Crystal Palace, we seemed to sort of go back to a normal with two wingers and Jimenez down the middle. So that's my preferred option. So yeah, same, really very similar system all the way through under Nuno.
Fair enough. I think that actually this season, especially in the last few games, we've kind of set up as like a 3-4-3 as well. So I think for the first time in a while, we've got another team that's coming against you in exactly the same formation as well. So you've got Vardy, obviously, that will play. And then you've got Dennis Pratt and Maddison or Barnes on that side as well. So it looks like we are going to set up for the first time in a while with a formation that will be similar to yours, because I remember last year, I'm going to be honest, we were quite lucky to get them 2 0-0 draws, to be honest. You guys were all over us and scored those 2 non-offside VAR goals.
Yeah, I went to, because it was the first game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we had the experience of a VAR straight away, which, I knew straight away then how much I was going to hate it. Yeah, well, I think we probably edge both games, but I think that has been a problem for us in a lot of games last season, where we just drew too many games where we just weren't clinical enough. We didn't create enough chances, clear-cut chances from the possession that we had, and yeah, hopefully, I think he is trying to change that this season, but. Yeah, I think we tend to have had a lot of close games. The last 4 games have all been fairly close. So, yeah, hoping for more goals tomorrow.
Yeah, let's hope so. We've managed to score quite a few goals, so I think it'll be quite a good game. Just coming on to, obviously, last year you guys were playing in the Europa League as well, finishing in sixth position, I think.
Was it 7th? We finished. We got through because Man City won the FA Cup. So.
Yes. Okay. That's fine. So I'd just like to get obviously it's our first time in the Europa League as well. And obviously we play a similar sort of football, but how was it playing in the Europa League this last season for you?
Just incredible. Best experience of my life as a Wolves fan. To travel to Europe to watch Wolves in a competitive game was just I'd never thought I'd see it. I went with my dad. It's just amazing experience. Places like, the first one was Belfast, though not that exciting, but we went to Italy, Istanbul, Portugal. It was a shame, obviously, that lockdown happened and then we couldn't go to any more. It just didn't feel the same after that. Obviously, still exciting to watch them, but we lost in the quarterfinals to Seville, and it just didn't feel the same. Obviously, not being able to go, but it was an absolutely incredible experience.
I'm really glad you guys enjoyed it. That's one thing we kind of lacking with the Europa League is actually the fans in the ground. And we haven't got the best of teams at the moment. Well, we've got Portugal, we've got a Greek team, and then we've got Ukraine as well. So it's not exactly the apparent. And one of the teams that we're currently against is at war with Russia. So you can imagine it's probably not the best if we could go. But I think, you were saying.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we had some. Well, one of the draws we had was a Slovakian team where they were banned through racist chanting. So it was like a complete stadium ban, but they somehow got round it with giving tickets to children or something. So you ended up with a full stadium, and then I think Wolves fans in the end only got 200 tickets. So that was a bit farcical. But in our group we had Besiktas and we had Braga, who you just thrashed the other night. So it was a great experience. I think Istanbul was definitely my favourite. Besiktas away was just that was brilliant. Loved every minute of it. When we went to Braga, we were a bit unfortunate. It just poured down with rain the whole time we were there. But it was just amazing. I think we got Espanyol after that in Barcelona, and then it was Olympiacos, but that's when they started playing behind closed doors. So I think you've just got to make the most of these moments, because I know you had your time in the Champions League as well, but you just don't know when it's going to come along again. So especially for clubs like us, we're obviously trying to break into that top six and be regulars there, but it's difficult because the money that other teams are spending as well. You're trying to play catch up all the time, but then they're spending a lot of money as well at the same time. So I think you've just got to make the most of it. They're great times.
Yeah, let's hope so. Obviously, let's see if we can get further in, then we'll be able to go to these games, because obviously that was a lot. Just coming back to kind of the Europa League, playing Thursday, Sunday, obviously you've had the intensity of the Premier League as well. How did Wolves manage to find that? Because I think for the first time they were in the Europa League, and the fact they were playing so many games in such a amount of time and with such a small squad, I think you guys did really well as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were worried that we were going to struggle with it. Who knows what difference it would have made to our season if we didn't have that. I think we played nearly 60 games overall. You just don't know. But obviously wouldn't have changed it. But I think it's difficult, really. I think I don't know. We seem to cope with it okay. We went to Istanbul to play with Besiktas on a Thursday night, won 1-0. And then we had Man City away on the Sunday and won 2-0 there. So, I think, it's difficult. It definitely has an effect on things. I think it's a good time for us to play you, because you've played a lot of games in the past couple of weeks. But yeah, it's hard to say. I'm sure it does have an effect on the players, all the travelling. So, and like you say, we had such a small squad. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how you guys cope with it compared to how we did last year. Yeah, it's a long old season, so yeah.
Yeah, it is a long season, and well, with the Euros coming up as well, it's going to be even shorter season just because they've tried to cram as much in as possible. Just your thoughts on your match prediction for this, and what do you think the match results would be by the end of this game?
For tomorrow's game,
yeah,
I think it's going to be tough for us. I think I'd be happy for a point. I mean, I think it'll be 1-1 if I'm honest. I don't want to jinx us. We tend not to concede many, although we did at West Ham. But yeah, I think we seem to have tightened up a little bit at the back. So yeah, I'll go for 1-1.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think we can potentially win it 2-1, but again, as you were saying with the squad, they're going to be a lot of them are tired as well. But I think as well, I'm quite glad that teams like us, Wolves, not Sheffield as much this season, but other like even Southampton that are currently top of the league as we speak, them teams are kind of breaking up the traditional top six, which obviously they're not too happy about. But I'm so glad for teams like us that are, even though we've not got the finances, the backing, and the fan base of, say, the likes of a Man United or even a Tottenham, but we still managed to hold our own. So I'm hoping by the end of the season, clubs like ours and that are just on that, or even Everton that are just on that brink of pushing into that top six, will hopefully just kind of disband that a little bit, and hopefully we have a good run, and hopefully we can both have European football next year.
Yeah, I think this season it's going to be a good season for the clubs that you've just mentioned, because, like you say, that top six as such, they're going to have a lot of games like yourselves crammed into a short period of time. We've already seen some crazy results. Liverpool losing 7-2 at Villa. And then you've got, Man United lost 6-1 at home to Spurs. Chelsea 3-3 at Albion, 3-0 down. I think it's probably a good chance for clubs like us this year, because I think those teams who are in the Champions League and Europa League, because, like you say, it's such a short season, they're trying to cram a lot of games in. I know they've got big squads, but it's going to be difficult for them. So I think it's a good opportunity this year for us to possibly go that one step further and get into the top six.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. So, well, we're both doing well, both in the top six, and best of luck, Max, to you, and hopefully we'll wish you the best of luck on Sunday tomorrow.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, and good luck for the season.
Brilliant. All right, see you later, Max. Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.